This chapter is going to be our last chapter, and we will see one last important feature that we need to know as an automation tester. That is how we can run Katalon from a command line, so that we don't have to use GUI to run our script, and the command line can execute all our test script, and thus it can save some memory and the execution would be faster. So let's get started. And with that, for this final tutorial, I will be using my Windows machine so that we can see how are the application files installed on Windows machine, how do we launch it, and rest of few important topics over here. So on Windows machine, Katalon, once you have downloaded the zip file, you need to extract it, unzip it, and the file folder would look like this. And once you go inside that, the .exe file is where you need to double click on it to launch the Katalon. So once you double click on it, Katalon will open up like this one. So in this chapter, we are going to learn all about command prompt and how we can run Katalon Studio from CMD. So basically, to run any script from CMD, Katalon does require Katalon runtime engine, that is called as KRE. There are some important, very important advantages of why we should be using CMD, because we don't need a UI to launch or run our script. It can be launched from a command line, and because it has a command line, it can be integrated with CI/CD tools like Jenkins, and from Jenkins you can schedule your test to be run at a particular time. And definitely it can be bundled, all the test cases can be bundled to execute in virtual containers like Docker, and thus also helps in the distributed server execution as well. There are some important notes to this. To run from the command line, that will basically require a KRE, that is Katalon Runtime Engine, and that needs to have a license. Without a license KRE, you cannot run CMD from the runtime engine. Other important things are like application.properties file, and please try and go visit the Katalon store for more exciting plugins over there. So I will quickly show you the application.property file, where is it located and what is the importance of it. So your application.properties file is basically located under the main drive under users and the user profile, and then .katalon and the application.properties file. So this application.properties file stores the login information. That is, when you go to Katalon, the Katalon is integrated with the runtime engine and with the Katalon analytics. And once you finish your test case executing from test suite, it uploads a few of the analytics data into the Katalon server. So on the right hand side, you can see the user profile. If you click on down arrow, it will show you the ID with which it has been logged in, right? So that is the importance of application.properties file. If you have multiple versions of Katalon like what I have, so my current version, which I am using, is 8.05, is logged in with a particular email ID, and if I try to launch another version, it will not ask me or prompt me for any kind of credential. It will take the credential that is stored in application.properties file. So if you want to run two different Katalon versions with two different accounts, all you need to do is to delete the application.properties file, and when you launch another version, it will then prompt you for that particular account to be logged in. So let us go ahead and understand what is a KRE, how to download it, and how to use it in the CMD to run our test scripts. So for CMD, or the runtime engine, please make sure that you are trying to download the same runtime engine version which is same as your Katalon GUI, right? So earlier we might have installed a particular Katalon version, the GUI, either on Linux or Windows or on Mac. So for runtime engine also we have to download the same version. That is the most optimal capability that should be practiced. Fewer versions of the Katalon, which are basically version 7.0 and some X. Those Katalon Studio engines are deprecated now and it is not supported. So what we have to do is we have to click on, for example, I'm on Windows and my it is 64-bit, so I will download the package. So once the package is downloaded over here, it will look like this. And once you go to Katalon in your folders, so the studio will have a zip file. You have to unzip it, and after unzip, the folder will open like this one. Okay, so to run a particular test script from a CMD, we need to open this particular path in the command prompt. So there is a shortcut. You can just click over here and type CMD, and it will open this particular path in the command prompt. Okay, so once we have downloaded the runtime engine, let us go to Katalon. So consider this, I have a very simple test case where it will do some things. So basically, I don't want to run any test case by opening Katalon or launching Katalon and run the test over here. What we will do is we will try to run this whole script from a command line. So basically, to run it from a command line, we would need a command, the command itself, and Katalon does provide this capability, which is over here, which you can see is build CMD. If you click on it, so important things to note is that to build a CMD or the command, the test case should be in a test suite or a test suite collection. So I already have a test case under my test suite, which is login, and it will have some API keys. We will talk about it. And this is the API key that is tagged to your licensed version. So I will show you one scenario from an account for which I don't have a license, and what is the error that we might face. And then I will try to run the CMD from a particular account for which I have a license already. So the first very basic step that we need to do is click on the build CMD over here and select a particular test case from a test suite or a test suite collection. And we don't have to worry about the API's keys. It will be auto generated, and with the runtime options, run with Chrome or any other browser that you want, you can select it from here. So I just leave the default features for now. Some number of retries and whatnot, you can put it over here, but I'm just going to leave it for now. And yes, so this is then we have to click on generate command. So basically, this is the command that we need to copy and paste into our command prompt, or rather the CMD of the runtime engine that we have seen just now. So from the CMD over here, we need to, from this path, we have to run this particular command, which we will copy from here, copy to clipboard, and like this we have to run, and then Katalon will this particular runtime engine will run the entire script for us. So before we go and see the positive scenario, let us try to see what could be the error. So basically, instead of, let me just close it for a while. So this particular account that I have is account for which I have a license. If I can just show you how we can see the license information. So if we go to Katalon test ops, here we can see this particular account, which is this particular email ID. I do have a license for the Katalon Studio Enterprise, okay, and also the Katalon Studio runtime engine. So I'm going to make use of this license to show the positive scenario. And for the negative scenario, what we will do is I have another account for which I don't have license. So if I am into Katalon and sign in through that particular account, and click on the CMD, and when we copy paste the command and go to our CMD, there is some extra setup that is required, which I'm not going to show over here. But let me just show you, if in future if you get this error, what is that error looks like, and how, what is required for it to run on the runtime Catalan runtime engine, or the KRE. So basically, if you have an account that doesn't have a license, once you run this whole command, yeah, once you copy the whole CMD, the build command, and run it, the error that you might face if you don't have a license, it will be something like this, that is activation failed. Please make sure that you are using a valid license. So with this, it will not be able to execute your test case, right, from the command line. So now let us see how we can do. So that is all about the licenses, and why the licenses are so important for the runtime engine. Without that, you cannot do it. And now let us go to Katalon. And so what we will do is, now we'll try to see how we can execute with a positive scenario, that is for the KRE would need a license, and I already have a license for this particular account, and that is why we are over here. If you want to switch to the account, like what I explained earlier, you can go to application.properties file, delete it, and try to relaunch the tool. Then it will prompt you for sign in again. Then you can supply the necessary credentials that you want to log in with, right? So basically, okay, so I will build the command, and I will select the test case from my test suite. Okay, I'm going to keep the default options as it is going to run on the Chrome, and click on generate command. So basically, this is the command that you can take and put into your Jenkins as well for building the jobs, and then Jenkins will trigger this whole automation for you as a CI/CD pipeline, right? So for now, we are just going to make use of the command prompt to run it. So I will copy this whole command. Before that, if you want to deep dive into it to see what exactly this information, this particular command is, so basically it is having the full path, and up to the test cases, and on what type of browser that you are going to launch, and the API's key. So this we don't have to worry, Katalon will build for us. So let me just copy to clipboard, and as mentioned, I will just go to the Katalon runtime engine and type CMD, so that it will open the command prompt and directly go to that particular runtime engine. So one thing that you have noticed, the runtime engine version that I'm using is 8.0.5, and the Katalon version is also 8.0.5. So we can safely close it. And even if we close Katalon, it will not have any issue. But what we can do is, we can go to CMD now. Okay, so I'm going to copy paste the whole command over here. Once I click or put the enter key, hit the enter key, then the whole script will run, and we can see the whole execution happening in the command line, and as well the actual execution, that is opening up the browser and run those test cases, will happen, right? So before that, let me just show you how would the result look like. Okay, so once it has run to completion, the result will look something like this, where you can see what all browsers and whatnot, because all this information is being captured over here, because the test is being called from a test suite. So definitely a report would be generated into the report folder, which will go and see once the test has executed. So let us go ahead and run this test from the command line using Katalon runtime engine, that is KRA. Okay, the test has started. You can see the Katalon version. It will invoke few things and check for the license. It has got window machine ID over here, machine ID over here. It is trying to validate the, so first it will check for any offline licenses. So I don't have any offline licenses. Now it will check for online, and it will check on for the online based on that particular the account that we are logged into. By the time it is running, let me show you something else. If you're trying to run on a lower version of Katalon runtime engine, the error might say that this version is deprecated and it is not supported. So if I can just show quickly. Okay, for some reason it was paused for a while, so it has continued, and we can see it has checked for all the necessary package, the test ng and whatnot, and now it is like saying start check license task. So Chrome driver, it has located successfully on this particular path. Okay, the test has started. As you can see, the test start test suite, and yes, it has successfully launch the browser. So it will just do basic few steps of validation. So you can see from the command prompt, the browser was launched and it was able to go to that particular path. So in fact, the report will also get generated. So the report would be coming under the report folder. So here, for example, under this particular test case, you can see the report would be coming in your HTML file. So the whole report will look over here. So with this, we have mostly covered all the things that we required to start automation testing in Katalon Studio for web. Please go and visit Katalon store. There are a lot of plugins that are available to integrate with test management tool like Jira. You can do integration with a lot of other things like Apply tools, Docker, and whatnot. So it would take some time for you to learn automation, but I believe with all the 16 chapters tutorials provided over here, you would be in a good position to start your test automation project. And if you have any doubt, you can always reach out to me. My email ID is mohammadmosaj.g@maybank.com, which is mohtmosaj.g@maybank.com. Uh, we will see another tutorial on mobile applications using Katalon Studio. If there are any issues, you can always reach out to me via email. Okay, and basically I'm from quality management team, seated on 6th floor as of now. Of course, we are all working from home, so yeah. So happy automation, and see you in the next chapter for mobile automation using Katalon Studio. Thank you.